Welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast, where we discuss and analyze your favorite marble sports. From JMR Marble League to Algodu tournaments, we'll make sure you never miss the action. All marble sports, all the time, right here on the MSW Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast. My name is Brendan.
And I'm Commander Wolf.
It's been a few weeks since we've had a normal show coming at you with me and Waf. Last week we had, of course, the collab with Let It Roll. Again, want to thank them. Big thanks.
Yes.
Large thanks to them for...
Ginormous thanks.
Oh, yeah, even. For coming on and doing the collab with us. It was really fun. We won the showdown. Just want to remind you guys that we won the fantasy showdown draft competition duel shit. We won it by how many points was it? Do you remember, Waf? Can we say that number out
It
loud?
was 301 to 283, so like 18 points.
18 points. That's quite a bit. Very excited about that. But anyway, the draft was really fun. It was a good chance for us to connect, and it was just so fun to banter back and forth with them. So definitely go check out their show, Let It Roll, if you want to see that.
Indeed, yes.
I want to tell a funny story before we get into the show today. So I'm interviewing right now for co-op positions for my college. So I'm going to work. How basically it works is for a semester, next semester, I'm going to be working at a real job in engineering, like an intern position, for those 6 months. I'm not going to be taking any classes that semester. So, of course, you have to interview to get those jobs, and there's a process, things like that. So I applied to a lot of places. I got a response, and from this company called VHB down in Florida. And I went to I got a call from the guy. He calls... a couple weeks after I apply, he's like, "Hey, dude, interested in, your resume. I just want to ask you a few questions about whatever." So he asked me a few questions, just like basic stuff about the job and like my availability and how I'm interested in it and stuff like that. And that was it. So then he's like, "You'll get an interview, whatever. Well, we'll talk. You'll get a link for it. Sign up." So then he calls me back later that day because he had like a specific question about my major. But then he also, at the end of the call, he's like, "So, do you watch Jel's Marble Runs?" And I was like, the fucking odds of this, but yes, I do. I didn't say the fucking odds of this, but I was like, no way, man. Yes, I do. He's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm an Rangers fan." And I'm like, no way you're an Rangers fan. This guy's like a senior engineer at the company. He's like 40. Or 50. I don't know. I don't know how old he is. I couldn't really tell. I didn't also ask because that would have been weird. He's a senior engineer, so he's been doing that for a long time. And I was like, no way you are an Rangers fan, because so on my resume I put that I do the podcast. Because it's like an interesting thing about me. So he saw that, and he saw that like it was about marble sports, and he watches it. He's an active Rangers fan. I just thought that was so cool. So we really connected over that for a while on the phone. So I mean that probably really helped in the interview as well. So
that's awesome.
I couldn't even believe that like the chances of the one person who calls to offer me an interview is an Rangers fan. That's so crazy, man. It's so crazy to me. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping I get the job. I'm really excited to work for the company if they offer me the job. But cool story, I guess. Cool story. That's all I got. Well, if you have anything fun before we go to the news.
I sure do. It's been so long that I don't know if I've actually said it on the show yet, but I passed my FE exam. So
congrats, man.
I'm on my way to becoming an officially licensed engineer, and I found out recently that they changed the requirements for the last exam, the PE exam. Before, you had to get your 4 years of experience first before taking it. Now, you just need to be an EIT, which is an engineer in training, to take it. And to be an EIT, you just need to pass the FE, take an open book ethics exam, and then get your bachelor's degree. So immediately after graduating, I can take like the final test I have to take in my life, and then I'll be done, which will be pretty cool.
Awesome, dude.
And then, in other news, so my brother came over and I was wearing my MSP shirt, and it was like something like, okay, what does it stand for? Let me Marble Sports Performance Network. And I told my family this a lot of times, because I've worn the shirt around, and they ask, and I found out today that I think what they think I'm saying is Marvel Sports, because no one ever asks a question. And then I was and Austin found out, my brother Austin, his name's Austin, I basically, he's trying to figure out, it's what I do is I do a podcast and stuff. It's whoa, wait, okay, that's cool, kind of interesting. And so I show why don't I show you what I make the podcast about? And then he sees the Marvel stuff, and he's like, so when you said you do a Marvel podcast, I thought you said Marvel. It's no, I do Marvels. And
wait. So because you've been doing this for 2 years, I'm just
yes.
All this time. They asked you, okay, what do you do? What is that, Waff? And you said Marble Sports Worldwide Marble Sports Performance Network, whatever. And they thought you said Marvel. And even though you said Marvel, or they thought you said Marvel, they had zero follow-up questions about the sports part or the podcast
they never
part.
Follow up.
What? How?
It's so weird.
They were just okay, Marvel Sports Performance. Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
I show him the channel trailer, and as it goes on, because it shows Piney's animations, he sees the Marvel's oh, you said Marble. It's yeah, that's what that is. And it's why don't I show you what Marble League is like? And I showed him 2017, the beginning of 2017, because that's the one that really made me fall in love. And he's I think partway through the qualifiers, he's this is really cool. It's yes, I did it. Oh my god, when someone else says this is really cool in Marble Sports, I always get so excited. I'm oh my god, we have another one. Yeah, I was trying to inform about Marble lore, talking about how the Limers don't do very good, and it's he might become a Limer. He's well, right now I'm currently rooting for the Limers just because he keeps telling me that they suck. So we might have a new Limers fan on our hands, but he hasn't picked an official team just yet. But he did subscribe to the channel, so now he might be listening to this episode. In which case, hi.
I hope he is. Yeah, my roommate just walked in. Oh no, well it doesn't matter. We're not streaming yet, so you can't even see it on camera. But my roommate's in here. His roommate, say hi. We're in the intro. You can say hi.
Hey, what's up? This is roommate.
Yeah, he lives near me. He gets annoyed at the podcast, right?
What? No.
Not at all. Crap, I just completely got off track there. But yeah, if you're listening to this, Waff's brother, hi. 2 years, and you just found out yesterday or last week. So
to be fair to him, this is my older brother, so he didn't live with me, I think, while I was making the show.
You should have sent it to him or something. Dude, I do this. It's 2 years have gone by. You were a different person 2 years ago. Think about 2 years ago, Waff.
I was a sweet summer child, that's what.
Now you're just a slightly older sweet summer child. All right. But anyways, guys, we're going to get to the news. And when we come back, we got a special guest. Plus, we're going to be diving into this Marble League game and really talking about what needs to be improved with the game. And I'm going to talk about how we're going to approach that after the news. But let's hear Johnny Marble's voice. I haven't heard it in a while, and I want to hear it again. Let's go to the news.
Hey everyone, it's Wolf. I just want to let you know that there is actually no news. I sent it to Johnny, and I never really heard back from him. That's why this episode is so late, and I apologize for that. So, there's just no news, and, hopefully you'll be there next week. Back to the show.
All right, we are back from the news, everybody. Thank you, Johnny Marble, for taking us through the news of this week in Marble Sports, which, I will say is not too much. We've had some of the ASMR videos from JMR, but other than that, we still await the start of the SMR 2021 season, of which we already did have some SMR this year, because for some reason they split 6 and 6 in the last SMR season. God only knows why. But we're still waiting for JMR to come to another tournament. But in the meantime, today's focus is this Marble League game, this pre-beta footage, as they wanted us to call it, that has released.
Yeah, it's down here in the corner. So it's more accurate to call it alpha footage at this point.
And before we get into the game, and before I talk about how we will analyze the game, we have to introduce our guest. This guest that we have coming on today, he is actually my editor for my other channel called Marble Guy, where I play Geometry Dash. And he's a good friend. I've known him for quite a while. Spent some time at his house. We made a couple videos together, playing Wii Sports and things like that at his house. He's just an all-around great guy. Welcome to the show, James.
Hello.
Welcome
But I've
back.
been on before, so this isn't super new. You guys don't have to be like, how did you get into marble sports?
Oh, yes, we do.
No,
this
you
is the
already
first
asked me
time
that.
you've guested on the show.
Nope.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? Do you?
So
did
you
really
about to
forget?
get... Wait, you guessed on the show before?
100%.
Yes.
I remember so clearly. You pulled the joke on me when I said that the Rangers was my favorite team. You immediately turned around and yelled bandwagon at the wall.
Oh my god,
You're
what
like,
episode is
bandwagon!
this? How do I forget this?
That's a great question.
It's like very
Wait, wow, this happened?
Yes, he was on the show.
Jeez.
Okay, someone go find what number episode that was, please, because I actually...
I'll find it right now.
I think you just like search James or Toadie-Wan and the tag will probably pull it up as just the first thing in the
I mean,
search
it
bar.
makes sense. I feel like James is someone I definitely would have had on the show at one point, so it felt really weird to me today when I was like, wow, is this the
You know
first
what
time
we're
I've had
talking
James
about?
on?
That episode, we were talking about Marble Mania, the TV show. You remember that?
That's a long time ago.
That is a throwback. I need to
That
figure
is
out what it
man, how long ago was that discussion? Marble Mania. That was a thing with the Dutch channel. Oh, they
Yes.
made it like a weird game show.
and it looked very similar. 86.
That was back
8 months ago.
80s, 8 months. Wow, that feels like forever ago. So I'm
Jeez.
sorry. I can't believe I forgot that, but I mean, a lot's happened. But anyway, we don't need to ask him about how he got into marble sports because apparently he's been on the show. If you want to know the answer to that question, well, episode 86, all right, it's there. Somewhere in the past, episode 86 was recorded, and that has said answer to said question.
Here's the short form answer. It's just Brendan, because it was just him. That was really it.
Yeah,
Brendan being the personality that he is.
Yeah, I actually kind of do remember. It was like we were at what was it, youth group, right? And I just come in and I'm just like, you guys gotta see this, man.
Yeah, and you're wearing your sweatshirt, too, that had, like, the big
Yeah.
Marble Olympics logo on it. Back when it was called Marble Olympics.
Oh my god,
yeah.
I'm angry every day when I think about the fact that I've lost that sweatshirt. It was the zipper jacket. I miss
So
it so
sad.
much.
No, actually, no. This was a hoodie. You have a hoodie, I think, that says something on it that was related to
Now, maybe
it.
it was the Crazy Cat size.
But also, yeah, that jacket was it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
But I guess
All right, well,
into
with
the
that being... Okay, well, thank you. Go ahead.
But with that being said, we are going to get into our main discussion today. We haven't mentioned it yet, but on YouTube we're going to be actually playing the game live. So if you want to see visual aids of like what we're talking about and stuff, then watch the episode on YouTube this week.
Okay, and before we get into judging this game, which we are going to do relatively harshly today, I do want to point that out because this game is... There's room for improvement, to say the least.
Yeah.
I want to mention, because there's two ways that we can judge this game. There's two ways we can talk about this game today on the show. All right? And the first way is we could come on and we could be very neutral about it. We could be very passive about our judgment and say things like, well, this is not very good, but, this is good. And, and just be, and I'm positive about the game, but we could just be overall positive about it. Which would make for a very cozy episode. But it's not a useful episode. All right, and so the other way we could talk about this game is we could not sugarcoat it all, and we could come out and be like, listen, guys, this game is a big problem. If you release this game right now, you better not even be charging a penny.
Yeah.
And that's a much more useful way to talk about this game, in my opinion anyway. Because
I would agree.
this is the first game to come out that's actually Marble Sports related. And this game will not be a success if it stays in this current state, and it doesn't get good insight from people in the community like me and Waf, who are actually very invested in marble sports and know what we and probably likely other people who are in this community actually want from a game like this. So we're not going to sugarcoat very much. It may come off a little harsh in some places, but we really want to make sure we're saying things that might be constructively productive for the company of this game should they listen to this episode, instead of them being like, oh, well, it seems like they're excited at the possibility, and, it's all, there's some bad things, there's some good things, but it's okay. Because that's not a useful way to advise. If we're going to do a whole episode on this, it's not a useful way to advise.
There are a few things I guess to start us off. Well, first of all, we completely forgot to mention, thank you, JMR. If you didn't see it, they shouted us out in their community tab. So there's a stream video of my first playthrough of this alpha footage, and Yella shouted out in his community tab. So it's like over 8,000 views, and we have over 500 subscribers
9,000.
now.
Yeah, it's thank you to everyone who saw that video, who watched the video, and who subscribed because of said video. And I was watching this said episode because they subscribed, because they took the shout out and they watched the video.
And
thank you.
There's also, and it's the other thing it mentions, like, at the end of that stream, or that recording, I was definitely very negative, and the reason why was because I was under the impression that they were still going to release the game this month in October, like it was originally planned, but I've heard since that not only is it not releasing this month, it's not even releasing this year.
Oh.
So
that's a positive.
That is a very,
I was going to say,
positive.
in a sense, it's really good, because, well, I mean, we'll get to that.
Yeah, this game, and listen, me and Waf, I remember when this episode. Well, first of all, can I mention that Waf didn't even tell me that he even made this video. He just put it up on the channel, and then I go over to I just happen to see my channel. I'm like, oh my god, there's a 45-minute video on my channel now. What is this? And I'm like, wait, what do you mean, Waf? What do you mean that you have pre-beta footage of the Marble League game that I don't know about, that you just made a video about? What? So he just put it up there, and that's so I saw it.
Yeah.
And then I called him and yelled at him, "Hi, Waf," and he told me that during that call that the plan was for them to release this month, and I was like, if they're gonna release this month, if what I saw in this video is what they're putting out, then this is bad news for the marble sports world of video games so far. And then we've just started, so it's a good to hear that it's gonna be not for another. I mean, early 2022 at the earliest, honestly.
The date I've heard is that it's going to come out in 2022, but they have not put a solid date down because they want to take as much time as necessary, which is good.
Yeah, and I think I honestly would be 100% fine with summer 2022. I think that would be a good target because you don't want to take too long, but they need that time because they need to make this not look like it was made just come out fresh from SolidWorks, which if you don't know is a 3D editing software that even I could make stuff like this in. And then I would see, good example, and this is a good bellwether of whether your game is good or not. There are some graphics in this game, like the funnels, some of the track design, that I personally, as someone who has very little graphic design experience, could make something exactly the same visually in something like SolidWorks 3D modeling program. It will look exactly the same. And if I can say that, then your game's not good yet. Okay, so good thing that they're taking time on this. But even so, it's time to dive into some of the deeper points of the game and talk about what really this game's all about. So I'm going to turn this over to Waf and let him explain how the game even works, how do you even play, and we'll go from there.
All right, well, I guess here we have the menu up here. The first button here is to take you to events. This one's to team customization, which I'm actually almost done doing the MSW team, so I might as well show you that. I just took our marble, and they weren't designed to be skins, but so there's still a little bit extra white on there. But I made the MSW team, so you can you click on marble to edit, which this is kind of inconvenient, you have to scroll through this.
Oh, that's cute. Oh, you made everyone's marbles. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And then there's the random cat's eye.
We'll call this.
Reminder, everyone go watch.
I love how I'm the captain. That makes me feel so captain.
But yeah, so then so you select custom, you can't actually select some of these skins, which is kind of weird. So some of the customization options aren't ready yet. But what you can do is you can actually put you either upload an image from the internet or from a pathway on your computer. So for instance, let me bring this in. You'll also notice real quick, one of the biggest problems is it goes behind the button. So you have to type blind. But then you do backslash.
Yeah, that's true. Wait, what is the type space for there?
Sorry, what?
Wait, what are you typing there?
I'm typing in the name of the image to upload from the computer. So let's do.
He's putting in the file path.
Yeah, the file path.
And it does not. It's not shift over. Okay, yeah, that's bad. I mean, it's a small detail, but yeah.
MSW.
Yeah, most text boxes
blind
are
text
right
box.
aligned and they fit inside of little blue blocks, and that's just.
And important tip to people: you have to type in the type of image. Like, so for instance, MSW globe.png for it to identify it, and there it is.
That looks
cool.
Nice though.
This slider
At least it works if you know how to work it.
This slider
actually is fun to see. It's fun to see the globe logo. For those, I think most people get it at this point, but every once in a while, someone will be confused. That's the logo for MSW. It's a globe. Marble Sports worldwide. Yeah. So it's fun to see it actually as a sphere, which is fun.
One thing that should be added is like the ability to rotate it, because like you can't rotate it in this menu to see its other images.
Yeah.
So right off the bat here too, and as we're looking at it, I guess I'll kind of describe. If you're happening to listen on only audio, I'll try to describe a little bit what we're seeing. So first, it was a row of all the marbles on your team, and it's actually very nice that you can put your skins on there. It actually does look pretty good with the skins on there. They do kind of stretch though, so they got to be careful about that. But maybe it's more you need to have the right file.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that part looks nice. And then you have a room where you can kind of see them rolling on like a treadmill, which I think is really cute. And you have like the trainer in there with them as well. It looks like a whole training room, like a workout room, which is actually a really nice attention to detail. So positives from that is just the aesthetic. The initial idea for the aesthetic is very good. Unfortunately, this looks like a mix of Petscop and Cool Math games right now. Okay, and
that is
look up.
perfect.
Look up Petscop if you haven't seen it.
I was gonna say this looks like one of the 3D games that would be on a Flash website. Rip Flash, by the way.
And so that's a negative right now. I mean, like I said, now knowing that they're going to spend another year on this, I'm very hopeful. But I mean, of course, the blind text box is something that needs to be, for quality of life, it needs to be fixed. But it just does look very basic right now. You can tell things are kind of blocky. It looks like it does have a Roblox feel to it too. Maybe is a better way to say it.
Oh,
which is not good, and especially for Marble Sports. And here's something I want to say right at the top of this, for any Big Head Games people listening. Marble Sports content, and this is even more so than just regular content, is very visual based, because you know that marbles aren't really athletes, and this is something that of course channels like JMR have to focus on too, and they do a good job of it. Because marbles aren't really athletes, a lot of the entertainment value comes from the visual effects, comes from how aesthetically pleasing it looks to watch, because that's a big deal. That accompanies the movement of the marbles themselves and the actual action to a high degree. So because that's already set for when you're watching a channel, it's very important in the game that things have high attention to detail. Like this room should be not cluttered, but very like attention to detail to the max. Really make that treadmill really look like a treadmill. Make that bench in the back, maybe throw a marble in the back there, stretching or whatever. Really put things in the cases behind. Maybe if that door, I see the door on the left, it looks like kind of like a sauna. If you have a window on that door, which it seems like you do, actually put some texture and design behind it so it's like you can see inside the room. Really make it that of high priority, almost like the attention to detail, that the level that you see in a game like Night in the Woods. That's what you need for a game like this. And it seems like immaterial, but for a Marble Sports community, the attention to detail art-wise is huge, especially since a lot of the Marble Sports community gets a lot of the content they eat up comes from some very high-level artists like Piney and Jack Ironhide, who, I mean, the stuff they make is always very detailed, down to like the pixel. Their stuff is detailed. So that's just a kind of subconscious expectation of the marble sports community when it comes to content like this. So I think that's just something definitely to watch out for when you're decorating all these backgrounds. Waff, James?
Yeah,
No, I agree with that.
Go ahead, James. I talked about this game already before for 40 minutes.
Yeah, no, you have got your whole video. So yeah, I really could not agree more on the whole Cool Math Games thing. So yeah, when it says pre-beta, I've often thought about, should they have said alpha instead? And I know alpha is like super early, and like that may not be fair because there's a lot of effort put into this game despite the graphical deficit, but it feels like an alpha game in some sense. And I was going to say, besides the brown, it doesn't actually look like that's a sauna. And I don't know what the gray thing is behind the marble and the treadmill. And the treadmill's not even moving. And just a lot of things. They put some detail in, but I don't feel like they put the detail in the right places yet. For example, the camera's moving a bit. You can see the little bob up and down, almost like you're there. Was that necessary now? Could you put that effort into other stuff? I think it's nice, but I think that would have worked better in a later version of the game.
Maybe.
Because if you're trying to get out the content right now. Yeah, it's
perhaps.
just weird.
Yeah,
and then,
you mentioned these in the background, Brendan. There's the doors in the background. Maybe cool to have like a marble roll by every now and again, like there's like officials going through and stuff.
That would be cool.
Yes. I mean, the room's not the room. You always have to think situationally. Imagine we're in this position. Imagine I'm the marble rolling on the treadmill, and there's a trainer with me. That room's not empty. This is not my room, probably. I mean, weird. This is probably other marbles that are going to move around. Now, it may be really annoying to do something crazy, like actually have other marbles come in and like do exercises and have like a million different possibilities for that. But just to have like just some like marble rolls by, marble comes in, picks up something, leaves. That's the kind of attention to detail that if you release that, and then marble sports fans are sitting there looking at that training room and they see that happen, well, they're going to talk about that. They're going to be like, oh my God, did you see like he picked up the drink and left? Like that's going to be a big deal for them. So definitely pay attention to that. Treadmill's got to be spinning. Mm-hmm. Okay. Obviously the things need to look a little less blocky. I mean, the blankets look like polygons right now. Let's be real. So just pointing out where it needs to go. But right now it's, I mean, I love the camera, Bob. I didn't even notice that until it was mentioned, but that actually does add like that feeling of like, because when you're standing watching something happen, you're not just like standing completely still. Your head kind of moves a little bit. So I think that's pretty cool effect in that regard. So we'll comment. Yeah. Well, I'll definitely compliment on that. Yeah,
and of course, down here in sliders, you can change like metallicness, matte finish, like plastic, and kind of like basically change how reflective it is and whatnot. And the sauna thing
for the skins doesn't seem to do that much. I will say, kind of seems to just add a little shadows or decrease. It doesn't seem to change too much. It kind of maybe, but it seems to just kind of distort a lot.
It might be hard to see like off of my computer, but it definitely looks a lot more different on my end.
Yeah, but I don't know if different in like the right aesthetic way. I mean, like if you slide it like a halfway, it really starts to get a little. I see the shininess kind of appear, but like definitely like made me to adjust a little bit on that.
They also don't have an ability for transparency, so like you can't make custom cat's eye marbles, so that's one thing they got to work on. The sauna thing. Yeah. Later on in the old video, like I was like flying around the map and I found the sauna, and Big Head Gang is like I'm like I like how you found the sauna. It has spoilers for season mode, which I don't know what that means. Like, Marble's gonna be like in the sauna at some point during seasons mode. I don't know. But apparently that's
maybe they talk afterwards.
Maybe. But yeah, so we're going to move on from customization and start getting into other stuff. So down here is like an information room where like you can kind of look at like information about the marbles, like their like some of their brief lore and their names. You can't loop backwards. You have to go through all of them, which is kind of annoying. We're not going to sit here and read them all. I haven't even done that, but like that's that there. There's
I was going to say, though,
it's nice to have information.
Some of the biographies have significantly more detail than others, and I don't know if it was just like they don't have enough to say for some of the teams, but like some are paragraphs that reach from the top to bottom, and some are like 3 lines.
Right.
Well, I mean, obviously that's something where, I mean, and again, if they're listening, I could just say it here. Stinth wrote 3 freaking books worth of, well, not that much, but a lot of lore for every team. So if you want a equal paragraph for every team, just contact one of us. We all know Stinth. We'll be able to show you that. I forget what website it is. It's a Marble Earth project, but I forget what the website is. But you can go to it, and there's a lore page for every team.
If you look up Project Marble Earth, it'll pop up.
Yeah, yeah, and then you'll be able to find all of that. So honestly, I think that would be nice to make sure at least there's a decent amount about every team, because then when people come through and pick teams and who are new to marble sports, who don't really know much about a lot of teams, being able to actually read something substantial about either team is going to be, every team is nice. If some are really small paragraphs, that subconsciously is going to change their view of said team, because there seems to be, oh, well, that team doesn't have a lot of information about it, must not be something worth considering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're here now. Like, this is the stats page. It tells you how many times I run an event, wins, average positions, stuff like that. How many unlocked marbles? There's only 8 in the game. But let's actually get into the. We turned off the music just because it was a bit loud. But it's Minos for lactose, so
it's the same.
Minos is the man.
So yeah, we have all the teams here. There are the 10 slots for the custom teams that for the people who bought that tier, and then there's your custom teams you make down here. I can't make more than one. I tried.
You should have bought the custom team tier.
I tried, but it was sold. It was sold out.
Oh, no way! Imagine.
Yeah.
But we got an ad in it. Wait, could you find our ad?
It is not in the game yet. Like, they have not added them in. The templates are
Doge Pachinko.
So yeah, here's
talk about ads though, because the ads are in weird places.
Mm-hmm. So I'll talk about this system here. These point system, it was just added for the pre-beta to give the pre-beta testers something to aim for. They aren't sure if they're going to include it in the game or if they'll include it in the same way, like unlocking events and stuff. It might be something for more cosmetics, so it's not like it's a permanent thing. It could very easily just not even be the final version. It was just kind of thrown in here.
I will state, again, we'll look at what we can see in front of us here. And so obviously we have a selection screen. Some events are locked, which is cool, that you have to unlock them. You can choose from each of the 8. You see all your marbles right there. Things that stick out immediately. So in the final version of the game, can you go back to the menu, please?
Yeah.
And yeah, that sound effect, the crowd effect, and Greg Woods is loud.
I'm just going to wait for him to go back to the menu. No, the menu with the picking of the
No,
events.
I might need to turn off the sound effects because it's also kind of loud. The cheering
also do that.
So loud.
Yeah. So back to that. So as you switch events again so we can see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so as you switch, what would probably be nice just aesthetically, right, is if the marbles actually rolled to the next spot instead of just flipped. Also, I think the marbles should roll and it should be lined up with the captain at the head, groups of 2, and then the coach at the bottom, because that also would it's like a group instead of like a weird line. The line color is also weird, but if they roll some as a group, and maybe you can even change the formation that they kind of set up in, maybe a diamond or a square or something like that, which is nice. And then you can distinguish the captain easily by having him separate, like right above the group. So just stuff like that is nice. It just adds aesthetic again to the game. If you're gonna take a year, I hit my mic. If you're gonna take a year to work on this again, I think that would be cool stuff to add in. I like how the event picking is in that stadium area. You have, of course, a lot of chairs and marbles. Some marbles are in the chairs. Again, I think it would be cool if you went to the attention to detail of having some marbles move in and out of the chairs, or some of them walking around the stadium, or some of them holding drinks, things like that. That would add, of course, to it, detail to stuff near the chairs. Maybe they brought bags or whatever, stuff like that, right? Obviously, that always adds a lot. But I think I do like how you have the stadium and you have the picking right at the front where it seems like the officials are, which is really cool. So I think this menu, of course, the graphics need to have that step up, but I think it's cool that you kind of roll around. And
here's something that I was thinking about.
And you use a...
So I get the fact that you want them to roll around and stuff and like walk around, and that would be good for realism. But if you think about it, most all of the motion that we've seen of these marbles outside of the sports has been in stop-motion formats where they walk frame by frame, like up Lego bricks up to a certain place. And so in a sense, I thought they were doing this very static, like, move from each event on purpose. Because if you look in the background, the audience is moving that way. I feel like specifically
yeah.
because of the way that they've
Yep.
always looked. So if you start making marbles roll around and like walk around, as you said, like how far is too far?
Honestly, when it comes to a game like this, the only way they can get away with stop motion is first of all in the stands, like you see in the corners. And if the graphics of this game have like a times 10 step up, because the stop motion animation works for JMR as a style because, well, of course, it's it's real marbles. So obviously it's infinitely times better than graphics. So the graphics need to be very high level for them to say, oh, we're going to have the marbles kind of jump around like this in the selection screen, but it's for the stop motion animation style. I personally think of the selection screen, it looks absolutely shitty to have it jump around like that. It should be rolling. But to get away with some of the other stop motion stuff, I think that only works for when the marbles are stagnant in their seats and kind of just shifting around, because it kind of like, that's kind of like a good way to portray how marbles are kind of like moving and cheering. When marbles are actually like going upstairs, downstairs, rolling to their seat, it kind of makes sense for them to like smoothly just kind of roll, right?
Maybe.
I don't know. It's just that I don't know. I can't really see how the stop motion's looking and then be getting by because of the style.
I just noticed something weird. I don't know how this happened, but I'm assuming that what happened was the inside of the lock is a one-layer plane, because one side is transparent and sees the back, the other one is solid and it's the color of the lock still. If you watch the inside of the lock, you can see the red background one time, but then the gold in the other. So I think it's just one plane and it's a PNG.
Yeah, I bet they did make some of this stuff in SolidWorks. It does look like SolidWorks, right?
No, it's more like, I think it's more like it might be Unity or something.
Oh, Unity, right, yeah, Unity. But yeah, with that being said, well, we're going to talk about how the events and stuff, so I guess let's get into one now. Yep. But I have a lot to say about that too.
So yeah, I just start off, but Greg was doing some explanation of what the event is, and sometimes he says some words. And
what?
Oh, whoa.
So the commentator voice is a separate option from the sound effects in the top right. Huh.
Yes.
Okay.
Commentary here. Here you can
ever turn
off
I was going to say that should be an option in the normal settings as well. And then again, this has been mentioned a lot. Get audio sliders for these things. This is huge in any game. We need these things to be quieter so we can actually enjoy the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair. Audio sliders are necessary. Honestly, okay. So for those again who are not watching, we're right now what we're seeing is the 4 marbles in the 5 meter sprint gate, ready to roll. There's a picture of there's like a little icon for your marble in the top left that has a up and down and left and right slider that will change the orientation of your marble in the gate, which I think is cool. I think it's a fun attention to detail, and I think that if it's easy to put in, leave it in. But my question for that would be, what is the real point for that? Because why include that? Because this is the alpha phase, so they went out of their way to include something like that in a very early phase of this game. And my question would be, well, why? Like, what does it do? Because does it actually change how your marble will perform, or is it really just aesthetic? And if it's just aesthetic, what is it aesthetic for? Because once the marble starts rolling, the orientation doesn't really make too much of a difference. So I guess that's my question. Or if you know anything regarding that, Waff, or any ideas?
Yeah, no, I'm not really sure. I think it's just really to look at the marble better. Especially since most people probably don't have a texture like we do that does not actually fit it perfectly. Like even ours isn't perfectly meant for this kind of thing. So maybe that's why. Like I know that some people said that maybe they'll have stats, and so maybe a marble will have a better a smoother side or something like that. I don't know. But it's probably just aesthetic. Of course here you click on the icon, you can change the marble to the other team members. All that
really
stuff.
Cool. Oh my god, look at Kaysen and Johnny Marble and Waff. That's such a nice part that you can put your own skins in the marble. Yeah. And they made sure that was going to be a very important part of this game, because that again is big for the aesthetic part of to this community. Being able to customize, being able to make your own being able to race against the best teams, but be your own team. It's nice. So Waf, maybe now talk about how does this game work? Like what inputs from you, what thought process or skills from your end are necessary to win, lose, to make this event work? What is it?
So in the final version of the game, there'll be like different modes. One is just simulation mode where you runs. One you'll have like some like managerial stuff where like you kind of like you train your team and like you pick the marble that's the best, and like you might have button inputs like to determine how well the event goes. But for right now, none of that's here. It's just simulation mode, and I'll show you now. There are multiple camera modes. The first one here is a set camera mode where it does do like set camera views like this, and I'll show you like some of them do different things. So here, Brendan just went down hey, Brendan won 5 meter sprint. Look at that.
Hey, I won. You know I'm a fast marble.
Good question.
Who did I just beat out?
Wispy,
Shining Swan.
Alpine, and Shiny.
Dude,
And
Wispy
Waspy.
from the Minute Wisp got nothing on me, bro.
There's also a replay mode where you can do it one time.
This
speed,
replay mode is
0.5,
great.
I do like the replay.
And
I
you
do like
pause
that
it.
aspect.
and do it frame by
Look at
frame.
me speed up at the end there. Late game acceleration. That's important in 5 meter sprint. You have to stay.
I wasn't a
strong
huge
down
fan of the
lane.
camera angle switch at the end. The way that it cut a bit too late to the finish line with the sweeping camera across the track. Yeah, we
Okay,
should
wait,
talk
stop.
about the
Wait,
currency
stop for
too.
a bunch of things right here.
All right.
Okay. First of all, the gold, the marbles being dropped into the case as a gold is actually, I'm a big fan of it. If, of course, graphically that needs to improve about 13-fold. But that is a great idea. It's a fun new way to make marbles currency, like little gold marbles currency, is really good idea. And I like how it drops into the case. That's a great idea. I would say try to make the case, like just make it look better and make it a little smaller and just kind of make the marbles, like you have to improve the graphics of that. But the idea is really fun for that. So I will go with that. Camera work, and play it again so we can look one more time. So camera work.
This is the
This camera
this is a
angle
free
is
flow.
really good.
Yeah.
The one that follows the marble and you can spin it around as it follows. That's going to be a good camera angle. The still
then-
camera angles, well, I mean, I guess they're useful, but they need probably to see more. They're not seeing enough of the track, I'd say.
Different camera modes will work differently in different events, and you'll see this one I'm on right now is just front to back. So basically, the camera will sweep behind. We'll show you later. So it was like kind of sweep behind it and fall from behind, like almost like a third person view. And then the last mode is a camera view.
It's a
where
free
you get
view.
to
You
use
can
your
do the
fly
whole
around.
WASD thing
I think that's
and
really
look
fun
around.
to do.
Yeah, go show the sauna.
So here's the thing. Yeah, so why is this in the press box?
It doesn't make sense. Yeah,
Why?
that's what
Oh
I
my
was.
God, wait,
that's what I was
the
talking about. They
room.
just have
I love
that
how
there
that's actually
in the
room
world.
It's in the map.
And if you load the marble customizer before you doing,
But
it,
not
your
moving,
marbles
like-
will be there.
I think.
Also,
that's
yeah,
really awesome.
there's
Not
that.
moving. Yeah, JMR.
Cat
should be
eyes
moving.
gels.
JMR cat eyes gels big head okay,
That is a funny
there's
attention to
eye
detail.
test thing,
Yeah.
and that actually is a really
Wait, there are
funny
weights in the
display.
background.
Yeah, this is the room where
Okay,
you're
a
learning.
couple things while I'm thinking about it. Are very important. Okay, obviously for these rooms that we're seeing, weight rooms, things like that, you should have marbles working in there. Again, attention to detail being a big idea. If you're good, because this came to mind when I saw the eye chart and then had cat eyes on it. Have company advertisements. I mean, I know there's advertisements for people who submitted, like we have an advertisement. We'll have an advertisement in the game, which is lit fuck. But it's like that's fun, and I know that will be in there. But like in different places, have nods to maybe here out on the outside too, but also like in some of these rooms, on the walls, posters, things like that. Have nods to in-world companies for the marbles. Maybe there is like a cat eye eye doctor type thing, which would be really cool. Have like a cat eye, have like a eye doctor thing. That would be cool. Maybe there's like an energy drink.
There's a monster in the
Langer
marble
energy
world.
drink or something. The sort, like use the teams or use the themes of the teams to make little in-world companies that, by the way, maybe can be integrated into the game in a more realistic way if the game continues to grow. But at base level, it's gonna be fun to have that attention to detail in there and see that. Maybe have marbles holding cans or drinks that are like jungle jumper juice
That
or whatever. You know what I'm
sounds
saying? Like jungle
bad.
juice. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of stuff. It does sound bad, but that kind of stuff is very important again for the attention to detail, for the decoration and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not seeing our coach in the coach section here, which is kind of weird. That's something they should add into. This weight room over here was the room where all the team members were lined up, if you remember correctly. Like, the coach goes here, or the captain goes here, then there's like Wolf, Brendan...
Yeah.
Or Wolf, Johnny, Case, and so that's what this room is. So basically, it's the menu room, but they have them loaded into the press boxes for some reason. There's Greg Woods, who's got...
He needs a ring light.
So much more lighting. There just needs to be so
Greg
much more
Woods
lighting.
needs lighting and texture. Greg Woods is going to have things in his press box. There's probably going to be another marble in his press box helping him. That kind of stuff. I honestly, I really wish I could be a part of this team. Maybe Big Higgins, you're listening. I mean, obviously I have no graphics editing experience. I'm not going to be able to make anything. But I'm just talking more in the sense of like being able to identify attention to detail material, identify those kinds of quality of life improvements that are necessary, that will really take the game to the next level. Because I'll tell you what, if this game is released at a high level of quality, it will succeed. Like, I guarantee it will succeed. Because and then everybody in the JMR server currently, and I'm sure JMR, of course, is going to advertise this game on their channel. Everybody who then plays it is going to be retained and sucked into this game if it's really something high quality. So I mean, I really think it's worth spending that extra time. Sand.
We should talk about the sand.
The sand texture. The sand should be moved. When you hit the sand, sand should move around. That's what happens in real life, so that's what has to happen here. Marks should be left in the sand from the marbles. And there
are similar comments we can make about the water in the triathlon event later on, because it's like that too.
Oh yeah, let's start. Yeah, let's start going through other events. I'm talking about Greg Woods now, just because like he's kind of loud when talking over us.
And I'm assuming they didn't care about this in the alpha version, but just in the future, remember, keep your free cam outside of the boundaries. Waff 100% went behind the bleachers, and he should not have been allowed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So next up, let's do hurdles. They have this is the updated one now.
Oh my god, I'm versing O'Rangers. All right.
Yeah, let's have Waff play.
Let's do a different...
Brandon's relaxing.
All right, fine. Waff, you better beat the O'Rangers or Brendan's better.
We'll see what the set camera mode is for this one.
Oh.
I think it's probably similar to
Why do they...
Sprint, just because it is...
Okay, so again, it's the far away...
Well, I like this camera. Oh my god, Waff is beating O'Rangers? Waff beat
so
the
I'm noticing,
O'Rangers.
yeah,
Oh my
I'm noticing
god.
the set camera mode, at least for the track, is the same each time. It's a far away angle at the beginning, and then it's the sweep as they go, like the tripod one, like turns as they go through the middle, and then they cut to the finish line too late. You can't see them cross.
It's only the same for these because it's the same track. It's the same for this one, but it's not the same for other ones.
I remember the camera for triathlon being pretty okay. You're going to do the Rotato one.
Yeah.
Again, Rotato being significantly better, I feel like, in these situations. Yeah,
there are the little hurdles here. You'll notice, I think they might slide on their own sometimes. Like, the physics is a bit off.
Waff could not beat Rojo. Oh, no.
Yeah, couldn't beat Rojo Uno.
Here's a complex camera idea I have. I think this would help for the convenience, the smoothness of by the way, the box, just another thing about the box should not have the Gels Marble Runs logo in it. Absolutely should not. It should have a nod to some in-world currency, just company, bank, whatever, because that's the kind of logo that would make sense to be there on a box that collects your currency, not the JMR logo. One thing I'm a couple things, but one thing that need to be careful of. Please do not overdo the JMR logo in World here, because for the World to make logical sense, you always got to remember that, like, I mean, in logical sense in World, if this was a real place that people made, like Marbles made this place and interacted here, like real life, it wouldn't be just the JMR logo and then no nod to any other economical powers in the world of marbles. So there should be other stuff there. Obviously it's early, but just kind of make sure that like there's not too much JMR logo and then like there's like it's like JMR is the only company in this world. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Camera work wise, I feel like it's best to not always cut to the finish line in a weird angle every time, but let the marbles cross the finish line at the same angle, and then just allow for a button to slow down the simulation to half speed or quarter speed, just like a hotkey for that, so that you can see it. So whatever camera angle you choose, you'll see the marbles cross at that angle. And if you want to slow the simulation down when you get towards the end, then you can click a button for it, but you don't have to. So you can see it at full speed if you want, but you can see them cross close if you want to. That will eliminate this weird need to always auto throw a replay in. That will eliminate kind of always cutting to like a possibly hard to read angle at the finish line, and kind of letting you experience it in the way you want to. You can have the option for that maybe, but like more have the option for slow down for visual help, let's say.
Agreed. Yeah. You probably noticed as we was talking, I was changing the marble, and like for big events like this, it changes the position too randomly, which is kind of weird. I never run this event with a full set camera just because it did this, and I was like, I'm not a fan of this, but I want to see when it changes, because I think it's supposed to change at a certain point.
Well, they already have an area, so we're watching Final Endurance now, and of course it's set up the same as recent Final Endurance. A huge error already. The marbles do not go
I was going to say, the
funnels nearly that quick.
This goes a lot faster than normal Final Endurance. You'll notice that, even with the green funnels.
They literally went through the first 6 funnels in 15 seconds, and that's just not
actually,
how it works.
Yeah.
That's like, wow, they dropped
because they're really not. They're so small, you can see.
So I would just be careful with that. Try to really focus.
I'm curious if this will happen in WoW's gameplay around this area. There we go. Yeah. Oh my God. Is it the same marble every time? So you'll notice on the far left, there is a sad man who fell out. And if we watch the replay, it like clips through stuff. It's not really supposed to happen. I don't think that was them adding accidents into the game. I think that was a bug and not a feature.
Yeah, no, it is a bug, and you'll watch. I can watch it up close, but also I feel like the blue funnel, they weren't in it nearly as long as they should have been. Like at least in the actual event, they were in there for quite a while in the blue funnel, right?
Yeah, the green funnels are usually they should. Okay, it should have taken a lot longer.
Kaysen is our Final Endurance now. He's not doing too good. Oh, he's not last place though.
He's middle of the pack. All right, Kaysen. Hey, listen.
I wasn't sure if I should pick Johnny Marble, because if our longtime fans know that he used to be Johnny Hot Wheels, so he's definitely a fast marble, so which is not very good for an event like this.
Oh
wow, the pinkies are doing amazing. Also, this pink coloring is wow. Ugh.
Yeah,
it's just a solid. They need to work on those textures a little bit.
It's not even the same shade of pink as the actual pinkies either.
But I'm hoping again, Alpha Phase they'll get there.
I guess because like the actual pinkies color is very close to the snowball, so it's hard to gauge.
Yeah.
But, like,
let's watch the replay at the end with the green funnel. We got to see this.
Here. I'll speed it.
So I believe it is the cat's eye.
Oh, we were on the marble following cam, which is nice. You can actually follow it spinning, which is really cool.
Yeah, we need free though, so we can see him fall.
Right,
he's already fallen, so we need to go back.
Back it up.
Okay, so watch this. That's a great question.
Why does he clip through the track? That's weird.
Yeah.
Because they might set collision in a certain color way, so it might slip through.
It's possible.
It spins a certain way.
I'm not going to show the biggest problem with funnels. The other camera modes.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready for this? Because it's honestly, it's not going to last very long. Because it's honestly kind of disorienting. Like it's like wobbling back and forth. This is not the worst. But then you have the behind the marble cam, which is this. This is actual. Do you guys remember the marble POV stuff they did in Marbula E, where it was like this is the driver's look and it was just a weirdly spinning camera? This gives me the vibes of that.
Yeah. You know what though? Okay, listen. I know in this current method, both of those are dizzying, but I'm not sure if that's necessarily a terrible idea. There's something nice about watching the camera kind of follow behind the marble, like you're almost spinning with the marble. It's cool. I suppose. I think if they develop upon it and test it and find a way to kind of stabilize it. Oh, there goes your Rangers. Dizzying. There goes your Rangers. Then bye, Rangers. Then it was not the worst idea. It's almost fun to feel the movement with the marble. I have to say. So. It's a little dizzying now, but maybe they could really kind of find the way to balance that.
Man, Case is not good at funnel endurance.
No, well, it's not really his thing.
Yeah, I guess it's not. I think so. Folk was like giving ideas like since this is all physics based, like to kind of emulate the skill bases of the different marbles, like basically change the. I believe it's called the eccentricity of an object, which basically affects how round an object is. So so I think there will actually be, if they're not already in, there will be like individual like actual characteristics that make marbles good at different things, like they do in actual JMR.
Well, I mean, over time, one of the things I think they really need to do is they have to come up with their own mathematical way of quantifying this. But they need to make a certain amount of different. They need to find what characteristics they can change about the sphere that will be effective in the physics direction. Then they need to go into all past Marble League data. And they need to quantify successes and failures of certain teams and marbles in different events that would relate to these certain things. Like, for example, a marble, you might be able to make a marble slightly faster or slower based on a certain quality of the sphere that you set when you make it in Unity or whatever. And you need to, if a marble like the Savage Speeders wins a lot of speed events, then you need to set that a little bit higher and then set one a little lower and have like a numbering system so you set it to an exact place. And then as years go on and marbles perform differently in the Marble League, then those stats actually change. Those features change. And then they should be customizable but forced balanced for your own marble. Like if you can customize it and add a lot of speed to your marble, you then lose a lot of something else. And so you have to force balance that out. And which for a simulation, then there's always going to be like an ideal and less than ideal way to do it, but still something that might be useful. And then you need 4 marbles, so you're going to have different preferences for skills. And I'm going to say this now while we're on the topic, now that we've been through a few events. And this is big. This is huge. This game, and I'm going to actually want to hear both of your opinions on this too, but this game will not work long-term as a simulation-only game. And even just a managerial-only game, which is basically a simulation, except you like make some more decisions. It will not work as that, because that's not much different than just watching the videos.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that. No, it's true. It's true. This game, and I don't know if they were even planning to do this, but if they're not, I really think they need to plan to do this now. This game needs to be skill based, or at least have a option for skill based, where every event has a way that you particularly can click on keys and mice and whatever and play it. And the way you click on keys and your movement, your arrow key movement and whatever, speed, boost, whatever you click on, actually has an effect on how you finish. Because if it doesn't, if it's not skill-based, then the game's going to become boring in 2 weeks. People are going to be like, oh, this is cool, it's new. And then 2 weeks later, it's just going to be like, it's nothing much more than the videos. So besides people like run their own tournaments for fun, like it's not a long-term return daily to play game. So there needs to be a skill-based part. And I imagine the skill-based part having like world record stuff for each event, multiplayer online where you get to go on and play against other people, and then there's going to be those people who are cracked and have crazy amount of points. Hopefully myself. I would grind like crazy at this game if they made it skill based and it was good. I would there'd be no more GD. I'd grind. And things like that for every event. They need to have that. Then multiplayer online for actually like versing your team against other teams in like a tournament, maybe a weekly event where you actually have a tournament between many teams, but it's skill based and the events are skill based. And you can still have the managerial aspect where you get to choose what marble you use and they all have different stats, but you have to actually play the event. Okay, because if you can't do that, then this is going to become choosing and hoping that a simulation works out is not exciting.
Which is how the videos go. Yeah, that makes sense. I could have sworn I saw in past trailers like sneak peeks of their ideas for like skill-based stuff. I thought I saw like things of like press the button at the right time for like a relay or hurdles or something. Did I not see that? Okay.
That was in there. That was.
And of course, the best way to make this skill-based is going to be either something that's very free move, like where you have a lot of arrow keys and things like that, or something that requires a lot of well-timed button presses.
A skill mode for this game
very hard
would
to
seem to fit better as like a rhythm type game where you have to press buttons at the right segment and not like control the movement of the marble with the arrow keys. Because controlling the movement seems wrong for marble sports since that's never been an option, and that's the point.
Well, you may be able to control movement in only a couple directions. Because, think about it. If they're always going to roll downhill, but you might be able to do things to, for example, 5-meter sprint. If they can really get granular with the movement control, we've talked about this in other podcasts. The key to 5-meter sprint is staying off the frickin' walls. I don't know why I had to curse there. But the point being, if you could really get granular and find a way to make the controls make sense, you could really have that focus being staying off the walls and how the button presses work with that and the rhythm you need to get into to find that, and how even a one little mistake will affect you a little bit against another team member. So it's always going to be that race for perfection across the whole event of really being able to stay off the walls and not lose rhythm, and so that kind of stuff is what needs to be integrated for events like this.
Mm-hmm. There are plans for multiplayer. That's going to be something that comes out. The other thing I think you mentioned, what was it? I think that this, as a simulation game, it could last long because it's gonna have. I think their plans are going to open up the Steam workshop for people can mod it, so people can will be able to make their own new events, and this is going to basically probably replace Algodoo for a lot of people. I think so. This might end up being a game that people use to make their own marble content,
which will be interesting. But and again, the people who choose to make marble content are always few compared to the people who would like to just play the game. Think about this way: Marble It Up is a good marble sports game. It's not really a marble sports game, but it's a marble based game where it's very skill based. A lot of people play that game, and compared to the amount of people who make marble sports content, which is very, very tedious to make, it's a huge difference. So I would say that the skill-based part is going to pull a lot of people in, not only from this community, but from outside the community who are like, oh, I want to play a new skill-based game that's about marbles. I mean, pretty much anybody who's even Monkey Ball would be into something like this. But if it's just a simulation, then only the few people who are very wish there was a 3D version of Algodoo are going to find this long-term interesting. Or people can only come back to it every once in a while to be like, all right, let's as a friend group, run a tournament for fun, and then we'll do it again in a couple months, right? So when you make a game that you want to succeed, the key is you want daily, a reason to return daily, all right? And the managerial aspect can work on that, because then you have to come back and maintain your team every day a little bit, and there's parts of that. Think about games like Adventure Capitalist and stuff, which is just an idle clicking game. People come back and check that every day, stuff like that. But it's gonna really thrive when if it's skill based, and then you come back and you get challenges, different and actually it'd be fun to have little different challenges where they really make the events extra hard, or mod the events to make them hard, where then you have a challenge to beat them skill wise. Then you go against other players, which is fun, and you can build your ranking, and then you build your ranking, you build your team status, maybe your team gets into a main tournament that's run every month or something on the game, stuff like that. That's just stuff throwing out there. But all that stuff is what's going to keep people coming back every day or every few days to be I got to maintain my team. I want to get to that top spot. I want to be in this monthly tournament that's broadcasted, I don't know, somewhere where a lot of people watch. You never know. Maybe JMR will broadcast a monthly tournament.
That would be
if your
cool.
Team gets in, everyone will
Marble
get to see
esports.
That. Things like that. Hey, guess
who could commentate
on top of that?
Greg Woods.
Marble guy. Exactly.
Or you. Yeah.
I've been running the Elimination Race in the background, and I found something new. In these other camera modes, if the up and down,
there is a zoom
in and
out.
Out.
That's good.
Which is cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's good to know. I didn't
know
either.
About that. So Elimination Race. Watch the platforms down here, the hexagons at the bottom. See, they just move they're so loose they can move on their own. So they almost don't ever play into the actual event. Oh, Kaysen's not doing so
Kaysen's probably going to lose.
Come on, Kaysen, you're doing
Kaysen was doing okay in the last one. Wait.
Kaysen, come on.
Second to last.
Yes, he didn't lose. Okay. I'm actually getting into it now because the marbles were.
Here's the other thing. In replay mode, physical objects that aren't marbles do not move back after replay. So the hexagons are still down here. So if they were sitting there and the marble hit it, they would hit nothing.
And the replay would be
bounce
different.
off nothing in the replay.
Oh, wait. Can you put it up to the top speed that it can go? I just want to see what it looks like.
Just one time speed. It doesn't go faster.
Oh, it just kind of cycles through. That's weird that they have the whole
The
slider.
slider's the progress bar.
The slider's for frame by frame, basically.
Slider's like any bar on YouTube or Vimeo.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, Kaysen getting off to a good start here. Dodging left, now right. Finds open space. Who's that on the left? I can't tell what marble that is, actually.
Wait, so what?
Oh, that's another thing. Another thing. I was just throwing some little commentary in there for fun, but the lighting and the textures on the marbles are hard to visualize. It's hard to see. So that needs to be worked on so that's easy to identify some of the marbles.
That's something I didn't bring up in my...
Stuck in the pack at the beginning, now back to last place here. He rolls down, back and forth. He goes stuck on the right side. And I think it's going to be good. No, the pinkies held up for a second, but just beat him out by a couple of millimeters.
That's okay. And here's the other thing.
Oh, that's not the pinkies. Is that the hazers? Fuck, man.
Yeah. Here's the thing. So the other thing that you don't like is that the game doesn't let you finish the rest of the event. So you don't get to see who wins. Once you lose, it's over, which I'm not a fan of.
I mean, for Elimination Race might be an exception.
My thing is there should be an
nice to see who won.
That's the thing. There should be an option because it's not good if it's only one or the other. If it was you have to watch the race the whole way through, like if you get out in the first round and you still have to watch the rest of the thing, that's not great. So I mean, this is better, but yeah, you should have an option to be able to let me watch the whole thing.
When especially in a tournament. Yeah. If you're in a tournament as many events, you're going to want to watch that play out to see who actually won, instead of it just kind of jumbles the numbers and randomize. You're going to want to see it happen, so that's going to be very important.
For
Triathlon looks pretty good.
For the lighting thing you mentioned, I never mentioned this in my video, but yeah, they should hopefully add a day and night cycle just so that there's different lighting on the marbles and stuff, because having this constant color is not the best. So I want to...
and we're going to eventually... I'm going to try to get Big Head Games on this show, guys, for those who's wondering, over the next short period of time. Because one of the big questions I want to ask, because I just want to know, I want to gauge what commitment we as fans should make to this.
Yeah, it's okay.
Water effect is cool. How invested are they in this game? Do they want to release this game and just hope it's good, or do they really want to release this game and stay with it for years and update it for years? Because if they want to do that, this could become a huge game that could then over many years with different updates get whole different like for example, here's a good example. Do they want to do what Ninja Kiwi does with balloons for this game? Because balloons came out like 10 years ago. They still make a new version of balloons. They still update Balloon CD6, new towers, new maps, new ideas, now challenges, now race modes, everything. And the game has grown so much from the first one that it almost looks like two different games. And the current version is unbelievably fun. So that's what I would wonder for this. Are they invested in that, where they really want to put everything into this game? And because then there's a lot of cool ideas that could really be worth talking about and exploring. Like I could imagine later versions of this game actually having some sort of like multiplayer RPG mode where you actually have a world outside of the events that you play to as the marbles, and that can help you or you actually do some real training outside that prepares you for the events, and or you have like moments where you get to interact with other marbles, like just like outside the world of just racing, which would be really cool if it got there. And I think it could, but only if they really invested for we want to stay with this game for years and continue to improve it. Because it would take a lot of time. That would not all come out in the first version. But just a thought I'm having. I definitely would want to ask them that. Like, what is their investment level? Also, it's a problem that these marbles in the triathlon all just hug the sides. That's obviously not how it works in the real race. So
I was reading about the water physics. Like, apparently in older versions sometimes they would go in the water and then just start rolling back up somehow. They've improved here, but I do see a problem. Like, there's almost no passing in the water. It does seem like almost for the most part that it stagnates.
Yeah, I noticed that. They're going to have to work on those physics, and they're going to have to just be cognizant of like the way marbles enter the water will affect how they roll through it.
One of the things I was going to say was that they drop through the water. They drop through the water way too fast. They hit the bottom relief quickly, but then they roll slowly, which is accurate. But they just hit it too quickly, and so I don't know.
I was thinking, was there not a set camera? There's no like alternating camera mode for Elimination
Yeah.
Race. It's just the same as.
It's hard to do.
The first
One of
two
those
games
like
was
tripod
really
modes
close,
where it
nice.
stays fixed but it moves to follow the marble. I don't feel like that would have worked as well for this mode. All right, second to last. Oh, third to last.
Brennan
Okay,
barely beat out.
we're okay.
It's like third to last, yeah.
Anyway, so we're gonna start to wrap up here. As at the end here, we'll watch me run through the elimination race, and when I lose, we will end. But yeah, these are. I mean, I would say again, if Big Heads Games is listening, I would say these are general corrections. We would love to talk to you guys more and just kind of and not just criticize, but really be a part of you like your guys' process of making this game, because this could be just information could be really useful, because I mean, this is the first time anyone's made a marble sports game. I mean, Marble It Up exists, but that's not a marble sports game. That's more of like a monkey ball game, but with more dimensions to it, I'd say. So I mean, I think it would be so nice to speak to them, and hopefully they hear some of these criticisms and focus on some of this detail. And I feel like they will, especially if they're pushing it off till next year. Yeah, I just maybe some of what we said was really helpful for guiding the direction of the game. If you guys have any more thoughts, now's the time to say them. So before we wrap up here, if you're watching on the YouTube, you get to see Marble Guy maybe win Elimination Race. Ooh, he's looking pretty good right now.
The farthest I made it was fifth place. That's the farthest I've ever gotten.
We'll
this.
see if
It
we'll
might
see
It'd
if
be funny
you
if I first time win.
I was hoping. Yeah, I was hoping to unlock
Yeah.
some events to the other events to show you, but I guess like to talk about. I've seen the streams of them, so to talk about them, balancing, there's no competition. It's just you going down the ramp, so you automatically win and get 10 gold every time. So it's the best way to farm for gold, but it costs 200 gold to unlock. So by that point, you're not even going to be.
Why is
gold
it just
anymore.
automatic win? Is that just because it's in the alpha stage, or
Because like all these events, like you only do one run. You know, like how in 5-meter sprint, you just race against those 4, and that's it, and it's done. And balancing, because
Yeah.
you only run one team at a time. There's no team to go against. So once your team's done, it just ends.
oh, so they don't run many different teams? You're saying
Right.
that's weird.
Yeah.
They'll have to
San Marble
fix that.
Rally. I think it's based off of the actual rally of track from
That's good.
Marble League,
That's
so
good.
That'd be cool to see. I want to see the run.
All right, Marble Guy
I'm hoping
doing
for
pretty
this. This
good.
would be a pretty
Cut
fun
through
ending to the
6
episode.
here.
Here's some other
It'd be fun-
things.
Yeah, it'd be a great way to end it.
I don't know
the
what the last
last
event
event?
is. I think it said somewhere. We can go see when we go back. So I want to speak more on the coloring of the marbles and just the coloring of things in general. One of the weird things in this is some of the lighting. Wait, did we lose? Darn.
Yeah, by like
Marble
two
Guy.
minutes
Oh,
and
come
a
on.
second.
All right.
It was
So
close.
the lighting on some of the graphics is not great.
Well, yeah, what
But
are you
also
gonna
the lighting on the marbles. I feel like, as we mentioned earlier, some are super dark, and so the vibrant colors of, like, say, the Cobalts or Team Galactic, it just looks like a really dark blue or purple that is really identifiable. And then some are super bright. That one pinky we saw, that, like, hurt your soul, that just is, it's way too bright of a pink. So stuff like that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And again, it's hard to make criticisms on this game. I don't know how much of a support team they have for this game. This is a very niche thing. I don't know how much we won.
Yo,
Cool.
Johnny!
I don't know how much more they plan to work on this game. I don't know if they plan to update this in future years and update the stadium. So, like, when Green Ducks hosts, are they going to put the time and effort in to get a version 2.0 out that looks like the new stadium? I don't know. I don't know if they'll care that much, or if it'll just be a 2021 simulator.
Well, I think that's going to depend,
Yeah.
and that's really going to depend on the success of the game, and that's why I
This is
want to put
important.
these criticisms out now, because the success of the game will depend on the first release. If it releases first
Has to be
and
fun.
it's fun to play, if there's a skill-based part where people's like, I'd sit here and grind for days to be the best. And you
Yeah.
can make that happen if you really focus on the gameplay aspect. And if for the people who maybe don't like the skill stuff as much, people look at it as like, this looks beautiful, this is so well detailed, I could play this forever. If you hit that mark from the start, then people are going to want a 2.0. People are going to want you to update the stadium. People will want you to expand the universe into Marbula 1, into SMR. People are going to want you to add more interaction between marbles out in the universe. And then people are going to want you to take this from where it is now to something as crazy and open world as Breath of the Wild. People will want that if the baseline is set at fun. Fun has to be the first thing here, and so for gameplay, and and things like that. So that's going to be how I think it would. This company's not going to focus on this game if people don't, if people are about it when it comes out. So if they hit the mark from the first part, then the company will probably continue to be like, all right, we're going to update this. We're going to make changes. We're going to continue to grind out new ideas for this game. And which will be really fun here. Oh, Johnny Marble getting out of second place there. But
Johnny not doing too
I don't
bad.
know. I think with that being said, that's going to wrap up the episode. Again, we always go longer than an hour. We'll never be under an hour. Don't even try to wonder.
But we have been on
the first Let It Roll one, I think, was less than an hour.
Yeah.
But there wasn't much to that.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
That's because they facilitated it. Okay, that's why. But anyway, that will do it for the episode. If Big Head Games is listening again, thank you guys for this idea. Thank you guys for imagining something and going for it and really putting this out there. Like, you have progress. We can see Marbles race. We can see the teams. You can customize. I mean, this is a lot more than we've ever had before. So this is great. And I'm really excited about this. But of course, we have to put those. I think it's useful for us to put those criticisms out there. So I hope you guys learned something from this. We hope to have you on the show at one point as well to really talk about the direction of this. But we really appreciate this possibility, this potential out there. So
I don't think that the audience can see because my camera's in the way, but they have a bug in that they don't round up, I think, the thousandths of a millisecond or whatever, because I won by only 1/1000th of a second, and the difference didn't round up with it. So I guess it was even smaller than that, and it just doesn't round.
That's
funny.
And
110. I wish that there's an option to turn off the progression system just so I could unlock all the events and test them, because it's kind of annoying that I have to grind for hours.
100%. That was the last thing I was going to say. Next version of this game that you release to the few people as a testing situation, maybe if you want this currency to be a thing in the future, sure, but don't have it now because you want people to be able to bug test all the events easily. And so this is not something you need in the pre-versions, and it's honestly, it's just an extra obstacle. It's not needed. It's not wanted. Yeah. 200 bronze, 200 silver, 200 gold. You know how much you have to play of everything? That's a lot, because if you guys have been seeing, he gets maybe 12 of each marble, depending on what he does.
And the longer events give you a lot more and the farthest I've gotten in Elimination Race was 5th place. I think I got 12 or 15
And that's
gold,
why
which
it needs to be skill-based, because when you play events and have to grind gold, it needs to be fun to grind gold. You need to be working towards that own personal goal of trying to be better and better at the event itself. And then you can set difficulties for the CPUs, for how good they are and the skills you have to go against, and you can set difficulties, then your multiplayer, and you can earn gold with that. That's going to be important. That's why that stuff's important, that skill-based part, so that it's not just boring to just sit here and watch something over and over. Because these events will get repetitive if it's not skill-based. Mm-hmm. But repetitive things that are skill-based, as you guys know from every other video game that succeeds, people will grind for days.
Think about Brendan on his flipping channel.
This game is still... that game is massively successful.
Am I actually going to be able to
and that's just the same thing over and over, but it's hard, and that's why people do it. So, and that's going to do the episode. So, Waf, why don't you take us out? And again, hope you enjoyed all this information. And we'll see you guys next time.
All right then. Roll on, Marble sports fans, as Brendan wins sprint. Yes!